Well, it seems that this group of men did come in the early hours of the morning into Zamboanga. The assumption is that they are a faction loyal to the veteran Moro leader, Numuswari. He was the man who started the Moro insurgency right back in the late 1960s and in fact made peace, the very first peace with the Philippines government back in 1996. He was even governor for a while, but fell out with the government. This is not the first time this has happened. His forces were involved in clashes inside Zamboanga. I was there actually back in 2001 when the Philippines government had to bomb its own city from the air, and we ended up with MNLF fighters again taking local people hostage before they were able to get away. So it's a long-running problem. The background to this, I mean, we don't know exactly what sparked this clash off, but it does seem these men came in for some kind of show of force. They've clashed with the Philippines armed forces on the ground. We have at least a few civilians killed and injured, one Navy personnel. But Numuswari has essentially been left out of the more recent peace agreements that have been going on between the Philippines government in Manila and a bigger insurgent Islamic group down there, the MNLF, the Moro National Liberation Front. And those peace negotiations have been making quite a lot of progress, far more than they have in recent years. And the assumption is that this show of force by the MNLF, or by Numuswari's faction of it, is to show his displeasure for being left out of those peace negotiations.
And Jonathan, returning to the situation on the ground now, how has the Philippine government or military responded to this current crisis?
Well, there's quite a big military presence in Zamboanga. It's a government Catholic stronghold right in the southern peninsula of Mindanao, which is surrounded by largely Muslim areas. It's always a very tense place. Because of that, it was inevitable there'd be clashes. I don't know how it's going to unfold if they've taken hostages, as we understand, but if past practice is anything to go by, there will probably be a negotiation, and at some point those rebel forces will be allowed to leave. This problem is very, very long running down there in Mindanao, and it's complicated by the fact that the place is awash with guns, it's pretty lawless, ridden with corruption, and that there are so many different armed groups. Apart from the MNLF and the MILF, you've got lots of other Islamic groups down there, all either fighting for an Islamic state or sometimes just fighting for their own reward through kidnapping. There are other armed groups as well, so it's a very difficult place for any government to try to make peace, and different Philippines governments have applied themselves to it in rather inconsistent ways. The fact that there has been so much progress now with the MILF has given hopes that something lasting might happen, but what we've seen today in Zamboanga with one group going in and getting involved in fighting with the government shows how much could still go wrong with this peace process.